Blessings. In today's video, we're diving into how to effectively reprogram the subconscious mind and change on the level of self-image. The self-image is the image of ourselves or the self-conception that we hold within our imagination. Now, imagination creates reality, so the version of you that you are living within, what version of you that you are embodying, is existing at a certain vibrational set point or a certain dominant vibration where you're overall vibrating at. And as we begin to become aware of the subconscious impressions or the vibrations that are held within our subconscious, within our subconscious tank, we're aware that we're imagining ourselves into reality. And that depending on the self-image that you hold is how the assumption that you're holding is going to attract the cooperative components into your reality. And also, for example, if you're wanting to be, or you are invoking that I am an inspired creator, what would that version of you be doing? Probably be getting inspired ideas and taking inspired action. And there is a certain balance of getting into the receptive mode, of getting into the state of consciousness where we are connected to source, energy, and feel the inspirations of infinite intelligence flowing through us as a clear and open channel. Practices as well that clear and purify your energy centers and your central channel essentially increase the amount of fire within your system and allow you to transmute through certain patterns to clear those patterns and to essentially let go of those and create more space for your subconscious to be more receptive to the seeds of intentions that you have planted. And there's a certain time delay on that. So this is what I've been finding has been really powerful in reprogramming my subconscious mind is before I go to sleep at night, I go into what's called the state akin to sleep meditation, which was taught by Neville Goddard, and essentially is the state of getting really relaxed in your body and in your consciousness and going into a state of feeling your wish is already fulfilled, it's already done. And in that state of relaxation, you start to feel certain images start coming in, you start visualizing what it would look like for you to be that version of yourself in that scene of life until you get into a state of oneness with the state and you feel the gratitude that it's already done and you drift off into sleep. The state as we're awake and we're going to sleep is a doorway into our subconscious mind. And this changes our unconscious as a way also we access in the dream state the types of images and things and within your dreams also change. This is why I've noticed too when I watch certain shows, like I watched like a dark superhero show, then those images showed up in my dreams. I was going into the state of realizing the abundance within my life, and imagery in my dreams started to show up and appear to that. So also being aware of the guard at the gate, and I'm not saying to be too rigid about this, but simply to practice the awareness of stepping into the witness and being aware of the filter of what we're allowing into our subconscious mind. Because those are impressions that are going to inform. So when we're going from awake to sleep, there's a doorway that we can use through meditation or even just tuning in for a few moments before we drift off into sleep, where we can more easily access the subconscious because there's an increased level of receptivity. The brain waves change during the day when you're in a high state of alertness. They're in beta as you learn to bring more mindfulness, meditation practice, mindset practice into your day. You can get more into alpha more consistently throughout your day. You can be more in the flow state. Now, either way, when you're drifting off into sleep, your brainwaves automatically move between alpha into theta. And in that state, which is akin to what you can get into simply through learning how to meditate deeply at any time, is when those brainwaves shift from alpha to theta. Essentially what happens, there's a doorway into the subconscious mind, and this is also called hypnagogia. And this is a state where you're half awake and you're half asleep. And this is a time when, if you bring in the feeling of your wish fulfilled and you're feeling and imagining yourself embodied in that version of you, inspired, abundance is flowing in, you're having that, money is coming in, you're filled with love in your life, you're seeing the vision of your business or whatever it is that you're creating in your life is coming into fruition, or that art piece is coming into fruition. This is also a powerful place to give a request to the subconscious mind to solve any problem within your life and put it to work. They also teach this in psycho-cybernetics, where you can essentially ask your subconscious for the solution to, say, for example, you're creating a video and you have a certain overall idea for that video, but you want your subconscious mind to fill in the details. So what you do is you come into the subconscious mind with the general idea of that video, and then you ask it in divine order to fulfill and bring me the creative and fruitful original ideas for the fulfillment of this idea, whatever it is. It could be a song, could be a video, could be a coaching program, could be a garden, could be anything. Could be a relationship issue. You know, bring the general vision of it already taken care of, and then ask your subconscious mind to fill in the details. So essentially, as you're going into that drift, you're getting into a really relaxed state, and then you're going in and you're envisioning, and then you're drifting off to sleep with that feeling of peace and satisfaction and happiness and love and success. And then what happens as we continue to practice this is that when we wake up first thing in the morning, when you wake up each day, you are awakening, you are reborn, you are coming out of the subconscious, out of the unconscious, out of the dream world, and into the waking world. Now, this waking world is also a dream, and you're imagining yourself to be a certain version of yourself in your waking life, and much like the movie Waking Life. And it's pretty trippy, because who you imagine yourself to be is now actually your self-conception. You have conceived yourself as you have woken up once again to being and acting out and fulfilling automatically what that version of yourself would enact throughout your day. Now, another way to wire this change in is that the first point when you wake up, you're also in that space where it's easier, you're moving out of theta and into alpha. And you're moving, your brainwaves are becoming more awake. Now, if you utilize the point after you wake up, say brush your teeth, do whatever, take care of yourself, drink some water, but if you utilize the point when you first wake up to immediately meditate, and I typically meditate for at least 15 minutes. It's recommended that like 15 or 20 minutes, but if you're more experienced or if it's called to you, sometimes I meditate longer. And it's about not pushing it, because the whole point of this kind of meditation that I'm talking about is a receptive mode meditation. It's a connecting to divine consciousness meditation. It's a space meditation. It's expanding your focus, your locus, out into more infinitude and becoming the I am. And so the whole point of that is to not push it or try to do anything. It's to allow everything to happen. So working with the amount of time, starting small, or starting with a period of time that is of non-resistance, because if you're trying to go too far and you're getting into a state of resistance, it's defeating the entire purpose. So anyways, if you utilize that point right when you wake up, now you're bridging the unconscious and the conscious, and now you can go in and get into a state of receptivity and open yourself to source consciousness. Now, what this is going to do, this is going to align your energy centers and your chakras. There's other meditations for this as well. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow the flow of energy to start moving through you and into you. And as you become one with this source energy, you're going to have certain guidances and inspirations, and it's going to turn into a feeling of appreciation. Then turn your attention to appreciating the things in your environment, appreciating the things that you already have about your life. And as the grid starts to fill in, certain visualizations will start to come in, but you're not trying to make the vision happen. You're receiving it, and you're feeling it, that it's already happening, that it's already happened, that it's on its way, that you're just feeling it in a moment. And because the whole point is developing the feeling state, right? The movie is just a part of the feeling state. If the movie helps you get into the feeling state, work with the movie. If the movie doesn't, the movie's useless. So are the affirmations. If the affirmations help you develop the feeling, great. If the affirmations don't, they're pretty much useless. It's all about the feeling. The feeling is the magic. The feeling is the secret. The feeling is the healing. The feeling is the key. The feeling is how you sense your vibration. So now, as you step through that portal, what's going to happen is you've bridged that period. You've gone into receptivity, into the mind, planted the seeds in the subconscious, waked up, tuned with source. Now you're getting divine guidance and inspirations, and you're aligning yourself with the version of you that is that inspired creator, that is successful, that is in a state of love. So to be a vibrational match to love in your life, you need to be love, right? So you're becoming more clear and more translucent to the reality of that's what you are, right? So we're feasting on these divine ideals after or through or as we're in a state of clarity, or we're in a state of receptivity. And now as you move through that into the day, practicing mindfulness, this is something I've developed over the years, is like bringing the mindfulness into the everyday, into the moment to moment to moment, and you'll start to notice that you can work with your vibration and your energy throughout your day, no matter what you're doing. You can bring that awareness of the moment and become aware of your awareness, become aware of your state of consciousness, because the state of consciousness that you're in, if you're in a state of reactivity, you're going into the habitual mind, you're going into the old self. If you're able to become aware of that, you're able to respond consciously, cultivate and sculpt your emotional tendency, your emotional leaning, your emotional quality. You're able to bring in more creativity into the moment. You're able to bring in more magic in the moment. You're able to bring in that shift in your self-image in the moment. You're able to start aligning more and more and more with that. And now throughout the day, as you're aware of your vibrational state, you're not reacting, you're responding, and you're becoming aware of what vibrational state you're in. Now you're cultivating awareness of what state you're in. And this is fundamental. And I know that I repeat this often because that it needs to be repeated for us to become aware of it. And part of a repetition of the mindset game is becoming aware of your state of consciousness that you're in at any given moment, because that is the self-image of your imagination that you are living in, and that's the parallel reality that you're going to transfer to. So throughout your day, as you learn to master the mind and you're able to work the muscle of the mind, you're able to make these micro shifts in your vibrational alignment, and you're able to shift between different timelines, which are going to produce different synchronicities, because as within, so without. So when people say, oh, that was so random, no, it's not. It's actually your consciousness is the cause, and your outer world is you pushed out, and the synchronicities that are happening are very specifically linked to earlier imaginations and earlier things that you scripted and earlier things that you reacted to from the past, and earlier things that were put into momentum of the vibration that you're now embodying, as that point of attraction is drawing to you very specific synchronicities. And that's why divine guidance and signs work through synchronicities, because they're very exactly linked to your communication with your intuition and the universal intelligence. Exactly proportional to your own lens of consciousness and how you interpret reality. So now, as you get really good at this, you can actually start to produce very specific types of manifestations. And I'm not just talking about general, like the things that everybody thinks of, like get money, get a partner or whatever, get a nice house or car, and all that stuff is fun. I'm saying like you can manifest very specific types of synchronicities depending on the types of things that you focus on and the types of energies that you work with. So the one way to build this power is to start focusing even on smaller things. Focus on things that you don't have resistance to. focus on things like the sun shining in, or different things that you like, the color green, or like a certain color that you like appreciate. And you'll start noticing like those kinds of synchronicities, like things that are like, think about a blue feather or something, and suddenly those things will start showing up. Now, the more that you train this, you can start to bring in very specific manifestations. And also, the real thing that is shifting is your self-image. So that's what you're reprogramming on the level of the subconscious, and this is a daily practice, because the more aware of what self-image you have, which most people do have no idea or mindfulness of, is the reality that you're going to produce and how you're going to enact yourself within it. And this was also called the principle of auto-suggestion, such as in the works of Napoleon Hill, spoke of in Think and Grow Rich, where essentially, as you cultivate a different self-concept or self-image within the subconscious mind, utilizing that point where there's an increased level of receptivity. Each night as you go to sleep, when you wake up, and the points in the rest and rise throughout your day in your own energy field, basically what's going to happen is you're going to start to automatically, as you embody a certain version of you, you're going to start automatically thinking the thoughts that that version of you would be thinking. So you're going to start automatically feeling the emotions that that version of you would be thinking. You're start automatically taking the actions that that version of you would be taking. You would start automatically, your subconscious mind, when you ask for those solutions to those problems, those answers to those questions, it's going to automatically be coming to you. That's why it's called ask and it is given, because the vibrational equivalent already exists within the field. As you synchronize yourself and you embody that version of you, if you're not aware of what state of consciousness, if you're not practicing the mindfulness of that, you won't even realize that this is why reality is happening exactly the way it's happening for you. But as soon as you become aware of that and you train that, even as the higher vibrational things or the good things are happening, you'll realize that you created it. You'll realize that you are embodying a certain version of you in that moment. As things are starting to go off course, you'll realize, oh, I'm embodying a certain version of myself. So if you're having trouble seeing yourself as someone who's depressed or in a low energy or not inspired, this is a way you can reprogram the subconscious mind. Start to go in and imagine yourself as someone who is inspired. Affirm that I am inspired. I am an inspired creator of my life. I have good health. Good health is my true nature. Love is my true nature. Abundance is my true nature. Money comes to me when I call. All things are working out in my favor. Everything is always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. And even saying that throughout your day when doubts start to come up, shift that in the moment. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out. Everything always works out for me. And think of all the times that things have ever worked out for you. And now that'll start to shift your self-image to somebody who things always work out for, and they actually do. So now, through the principle of autosuggestion, you will be living in the synchronicity. You'll be living in the reflection of the reality of that point of attraction. You will be attracting opportunities of the version of you. Things will actually arrange themselves and change in your external world to conform to the assumption that things always work out for you. This is how you reprogram the subconscious mind, through changing the self-image. Now, the autosuggestion is also the principle of vibrational momentum. So as you start to change on this deeper level of imagination, as you're going to sleep and waking up every day, now when you tune in first thing in the day, you're pre-paving. You're setting a different momentum, because what happens is that the old self-concept, the old thoughts are going to be coming up, and then you're going to be fixating and wasting your attention on all of these old patterns and things that don't serve you. So as you start to get ahead of it and meditate, you'll get ahead of the momentum, and then you'll be able to create a new momentum. You'll be able to create a momentum that is from the source of your own cause of your state of consciousness, and from what it is that you are imagining and embodying and feeling yourself to be. And this is also can be used for you to become articulate in your speech. This is how I created myself to be articulate in my speech, and also how I am creating the channel and all these other things. It's coming from my self-concept. It's coming from the fact that I recognize that I have value, and I have value to serve others. It is my calling, and I am here to serve others in the awakening of consciousness, and to help the shift on the planet, right? So that's the self-concept. So if you recognize that, these other voices that are going on of like, oh, you worthless, why are you doing this video, and da 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 da. And she's like, I hear you, I recognize, I love you, and at the same time, this is actually the truth of my being, right? So you can recognize both. You can recognize the illusion, right? And you can recognize that there's actually a deeper heart's desire within you. And you can recognize that there's a joy in the art of creating, and you can allow yourself to become the version of you who is allowing that to flow through despite the conditions. Because the conditions, look at the conditions, condition not favorable to what it is you want. It's old news. It's already manifested. This is the world of the dead. The world of the living is within you. It does not define what it is you are capable of creating. So as this shift starts to happen, you create a new momentum. And what I'm saying is that momentum creates a new frame of your intentionality of how you sculpt what your creation is and your reality is as the creator of your reality. And then you will, inside of that frame, inside of that solid energy or that masculine energy, that Shiva energy, that Yang energy, you will have a flow state that will come through that, which is, you could say, a Shakti energy or a Yin energy, like a Yang and a Yin energy. These are just different words and traditions of saying that there is duality, and that as you're able to merge those polarities within yourself, you come into a unity consciousness or a Christ consciousness. And the flow of divinity is now happening not just through you, but as you. You realize that you are the I am. This message is for your soul, for you to remember who you really are in service to the awakening. So remember, you are awesome. You have the capacity. This is your magic. This is your tools. You don't have anything different than me. And I'm just saying things are going well. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying stuff works. All right, so let's keep the momentum moving and stay in that mindset, stay in that flow, stay in that focus, stay in that frame, and allow it to come through. And you will see through practicing these simple things. And I have not made one of these yet on my channel, though I recommend looking them up. I will make one. It's called SATS, S-A-T-S, State Akin to Sleep Meditation. There's some really great ones out there. Life by Lucy, Elmer O'Locker Jr. channel. Great content as well on the subject. And both have SATS meditations that have helped me tremendously to experience some shifts in my own mind. And as I make my own, I will share it with you. So just to wrap this all up, the reason it's called a self-conception, why do I say conception instead of concept? Okay. Because every day that you go to sleep and you wake up, think of the word awakening, right? You are remade in the likeness and image of your own imagination. You are literally embodying a certain version of you in the multiverse who is living on a certain timeline, who is living in a certain reality based on that. It is a reflection, it is your point of attraction. So I'm saying be mindful of that. Okay, the reason it's a conception is because you are being reborn. It is your self-conception, who you conceive yourself to be, like a child is conceived. You are the child of creation. So be mindful of the images, emotions, thoughts, and vibrations that you are holding. And as you start to practice these things, it will reprogram your subconscious mind so you can be the inspired creator, filled with the success, the love, and vitality, and all the blessed things that are already yours right now. Claim it right now in this moment. Comment below, I claim my divine right to be successful, to be loved and loving, to be prosperous, to be a creative, empowered being. So thank you so much for tuning in to another video on the channel. Please hit the thumbs up, share it with a friend if you want to help this channel blow up. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that bell. Notifications will be sent straight to your phone if you do that. And this will help you to stay in the flow state. Peace and many blessings.